designed by Duarte Designs, which is across over in Cupertino. Nancy Duarte does two other books which are sitting conveniently on my desk in Galileo and 11 and not here. But again, two other books that are really awesome. You can Google Nancy Duarte. She gives these kind of talks and speaks all the time about design and that kind of thing. They make the big bucks when it comes to, they do Steve Jobs, all that other kind of stuff. Yes.
So you have down here Source, SCAR.
You bet.
Does that cover a copyright concern, or do you have to actually get copyright approval if this were copyrighted?
I got this from there. I'm not too worried about copyright, but one of the reasons it's there is because now you can go find it. This is not just the picture, but more the information. So that could be part of my lecture, if you will. But yeah, it's also, sometimes if you need to give yourself a reminder, just pop it down there in a little corner, just so you know. Yeah.
So those images are downloadable or the slides for PowerPoint presentations? Is that what you're saying if you go to SCAR?
Nope, SCAR is actually the information about the
global warming?
Yeah.
Okay. And you just
we made it.
Screen captured two little slides, or how did you get them into your PowerPoint?
How did I get them in my PowerPoint? I went and I found a picture of ice and put the word
Oh,
ice
you
on
did?
top of
Okay.
it. A decent quality photo of
Yeah.
ice.
You probably went to like Google Images, search for large images in Google and downloaded it. Then
Okay.
you're in PowerPoint, you click insert image
Right,
slide.
right.
I'll show you now. This particular one is chosen for a purpose. It has taken me all my life to learn what not to play. And the photo is just, come on, it's an awesome photo. But there's a message in that, and the hardest part of creating a presentation is figuring out what to put on that stupid slide. All right? Because, it's really easy to put up a sentence. Put up a sentence is a nice, quick way, the fast way. In fact, it's the default way of PowerPoint, right? It encourages you, new slide, what does it give you? Title at the top, bullet point, bullet point. I mean, you can change that, but that's what all of them encourage you to do. So no templates, blank. Choose a blank template. Don't be sucked into the PowerPoint keynote template thing. Choose a blank one, because what's a slide? Presentation is a slide, and you just put stuff on it, whatever that stuff is. Text, pictures, audio, video. That's all it is. It's just a slide that you put stuff on. They all work that way. Don't fall into the default title, bullet, bullet, bullet. Because you guys know, you see them from your students all the time.
It's interesting how much white space is on that slide. I think there's a tendency to kind of want to fill it up and kind of be afraid of large open spaces like that.
You know what, that's really interesting because other people will have other feelings with that, yeah.
I was just going to say, I think just from seeing this and my experience of working with students, creating PowerPoints and visiting classes where the PowerPoints are a big part of a presentation in class, it seems like it would be smarter to tell the students when you're doing the written part, if you need to turn that in as part of your presentation, put that in the notes part, and then print out the entire presentation with the notes.
Right.
So what they show is this, and then the notes is all the written stuff that usually ends up on the slide and no one reads it anyway. Or put the bibliography in the notes page, or whatever, to take up less screen.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you're focused on the message, not the little functionary things. Is that a question or just a?
Yeah.
Sorry, I gotta have Star Wars. It made me smile. I didn't put this together, somebody else did. Come on, this is awesome. Don't be Darth Vader, be Yoda. I used to have one of Bill Gates presenting and Steve Jobs presenting. Bill Gates usually has the bulleted list behind him. Steve Jobs, as you know, Apple, slick and does, the charisma thing and makes you want to buy his stuff. And really, if you want to know who's the master of it, look at Google. Look at their search page. No advertisements, straight to the point. What do you want to do? You know, you're not hunting. Where's the search button? Don't you hate that on a web page when you have to look for search? They made it so easy. And they also make it fun because they change this stuff from time to time and you just go look at that. But they made it so easy. Well, they're doing pretty good right now. So I would say study that right there. And I have one main point. Can you figure out what it is? So there's the walk away, right there. You are the presentation. The presentation is not the means. Excuse me, is not the most important thing. Which is why I would like the likes on. But oh well. So I hear people asking about where to get images in the Google search. Do you guys know how to do that? Yeah? No?
It's images.google.com, right?
It can be.
Those other
There's many ways.
places?
Let's go. Here's Google. I'm going to type in cats.
Just go to
And you go to images.
Okay.
And if you click on large,
That will give you the best quality right
these are
there.
going to give you the best quality images. So,
Just know though, if you insert those large images, you save them and you insert them into a slide, then you most likely will have to crop them or resize them down, obviously, because they're really meant for, you know, print.
and medium's
most
not
of the
bad
time.
either.
Medium's good.
Medium's not
For-
bad.
On that, it's much better to shrink an image
Mhm.
and then re-enlarge it later if you need to, than it is to crop an image and then try to enlarge it, because
Yeah.
that's where you get the pixelation, that the weird box look on the images. Is if you try to start small and go big, you get a horrible quality. But if you start big and shrink it,
Yeah.
then that's where you get the best quality.
Can we go back to the Dizzy Gillespie slide?
You bet.
Because that, I think, is an excellent illustration of something that I really struggle with in teaching with presentations.
Mhm.
So what my students would do is they would memorize that Dizzy Gillespie quote.
Mhm.
And then when I tried to test them on, what are the components of an effective presentation, they would say, but I memorized that Dizzy Gillespie quote because that's what was up there. So
Give them the notes.
I'm trying to think of how to integrate the two so that they still have that visual cue of like, oh, okay, I need to start thinking about what are the components of an effective presentation.
You could print as a PDF and put up on Moodle this and this. You have the quote and then everything that's important about it underneath. So now they're getting both.
Yeah.
So maybe at the beginning saying, I'm giving you notes, it doesn't mean you have to take notes. But that way you're giving them, because probably you're not giving them the notes, right?
Yeah. Well, they get the PDFs of the slides afterwards, but my slides don't end up being as clean as that because I try to give them at least some keywords
Okay, but that's
on
a great,
the slide.
so if it's a keyword, you can still put the keyword up there, but what is it on the notes? Why is that keyword important?
Yeah. Okay.
So you're utilizing this and this, and you can print slide with speaker notes and give it to them.
Yeah. Okay.
Another
What,
way to-
what do you think about building a slide? So in other words, that slide has great impact initially. Do you think building up on that slide?
Okay, that's great, because I didn't have time to touch animation.
As
so.
in like, that animation
The
thing.
animation thing, I find most people overdo it.
Yeah.
As you can see, I don't have any of it in there
It's
for that
distracting.
purpose right now. Animation does two things. It can distract, and that can be sometimes what you want. Or if you're moving from one topic to another topic, it actually tells them back here in the back of their mind, oh, we're switching topics now. So those are really the two key elements of an animation is, I'm going to distract you over here, or whether they're aware of it or not, their mind subconsciously knows you're going from point A to point B. So like a simple transition. I hate the spiral thing, but again,
Yeah.
if you want to distract, that spiral thing is going to happen. That'll do it. Yes.
Most of my PowerPoint presentations have very large art slides.
Mm-hmm.
and I need them large because
Yeah, you need the resolution.
I
Gotcha.
need the resolution. But then I have these huge files.
Mhm.
Is there a way for me to store these large files into something smaller that
Yes.
automatically gets unzipped? Should I come to you later?
You can come to any one of us. We all know how to do that, but you bet, yes. The answer is yes.
And I want to make a point to you, is that one of the big things that Rita's getting at here is that the presentation is for the audience. So you have identified a characteristic of your audience that whatever text is up there, they are conditioned, trained, I don't know
That's
what,
their cue.
to memorize.
Yeah.
Right,
So used
right,
to the
right.
bullet point, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
used to that,
Right.
right?
They're used to that.
Mhm.
Even though that's not necessarily pedagogically effective, that's what they're used to.
Yeah.
So that's, so that's one of the things that we have to deal with, is the expectations of our audience.
Which brings up the point that if you want to give them words about it, but you don't actually want them to memorize it, don't put them in the slide. Put them in the speaker notes.
Yeah.
The slide you keep simple. You keep direct to the point of what you want them to remember, and with an image preferably, or just the image itself, and then everything else kind of explaining or anything else that kind of expounds upon the idea is what goes in the speaker notes that you print out later for them to as the notes. Another point on the notes is if you tell them ahead of time, don't worry about taking notes. All this will be in a handout later. Make sure to stick to what you have on the notes and don't go on various tangents, because then they're going to be like, wait, this isn't in the notes, and you talked about this and that, the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
again, I
very
didn't
true.
have a lot of time, but there's really three parts, right? What you see, what the audience sees, and the walkaways, the handouts.
Yes.
Any presentation has that.
Yeah.
Require that from your students as well. Yeah.
If you preload it, if you tell them in advance, this is what I'm expecting, and this is how I'm giving my presentation, look out for the notes, then they'll know.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to tell them ahead of time, because
You wanna
every
do your
professor has a completely different way of doing things, so you just let them know what your style is in advance, and you show them.
It's all fair.
Can I just ask one question about what Costanza was saying?
You bet.
Costanza, so is there, what, you were saying that your problem with these really great PowerPoint presentations with the graphics and all that ends up being very large, right? And
Because the images
because of the images, obviously.
of these art
Uh-huh.
pieces that have to be essentially substantial, so
Right.
that we can look at details.
Sure, but is the problem of it being large because you're trying to send it via like email or put it on a website? Or is it just because it's taking up room on your computer?
Well, all three.
All three.
Because sometimes I think, well, maybe I would like to have my students have my PowerPoint,
Yeah,
but it's so big,
because
I
it's so
can't
big.
email it, and I had trouble putting it on Blackboard.
Yes,
and
because
because it's too big.
right, and
Yeah.
truly because really PowerPoints are really meant to be, the people that are here, that's who you show it to.
Yeah.
But if you want to make it smaller, it's a good way to do it is to make it a movie. You make it a movie file.
Just file save as movie.
Yeah.
I see.
And then that's, it compresses it. So it's
Right.
not like huge. And it plays like a movie, and they all have like the play controls like a movie, so they can pause it. It's not really a PowerPoint anymore when they receive it. Because again, it's for the audience, right? You always have to remember what they're seeing. If you're sending it to them via email or through your course site, if you're uploading your entire PowerPoint presentation with all these great graphics, it's going to always work fine for you because it's yours, right? It always instantly opens up for you. But remember, the viewer still has to download it and bring it, and that could take a long time. But if you compress it into a movie, then it's very fast.
So PowerPoint and Keynote have the file save as movie option.
I see.
And another option, because technology is full of options, is Google presentation. You can just put it on Google,
Which is
Google
what
Docs.
he was
Yes.
doing right there.
Which is what he was doing, where everyone, it's shared with everyone. No one has to download it. They don't have to
Exactly.
worry about sizes because it's all kept on their server.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm gonna take one more question, and then I'm gonna let you guys eat, and then I'm gonna be around, and we can talk. How about that? Yes.
I just wanted to share one thing. I recently did a focus group with students, and the number one pet peeve was lose the boring textbook PowerPoint presentations that come with your textbook.
Exercise.
Yeah.
Emphatically.
Wow. No, good. No, thank you for the support. All right, so I'm gonna let people go get food.